the Ministry of Justice here present, that I stand here at this historic event, which is the presentation of the very long-awaited report on the forensic audit of the Niger Delta Development Commission. Through you, to our boss, the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, President Muhammadu Buhari. Permit me to just rekindle just a brief history of this very national assignment. The exercise started sometime in October 2019 when the governors of the 9 Niger Delta states visited Mr. President, and at that event, they bemoaned the lackluster performance of the NDDC as an interventionist agency. Collectively, it was agreed that so much money had gone into the NDDC since inception in 2001, but very little was seen on the ground. Littered around the whole Niger Delta were uncompleted projects, some abandoned, some ongoing. At that time, we said over 9,000 or 10,000. But the auditors have told us today that the abandoned projects are over 13,000. Your Excellency, they demanded that, yes, they heard about formation of board, but the issue wasn't the board. The issue was what have they been doing in the past. And they asked Mr. President to look into the affairs, the state of affairs of the Commission before empaneling any new board. Mr. President agreed with them and thereafter ordered that there should be a holistic forensic audit of the affairs of the Niger Delta Development Commission. Well, the exercise had a checkered history, and at the end of the day, one of the most significant things that happened was that because of delay or lack of budget, the NDDC was excused by Mr. President from paying the bills for this forensic audit. Mr. President took it upon himself that the bills will be paid from the presidency, from the budget of the presidency. In view of that decision, the Bureau of Public Procurement now gave approval to about 16 field forensic auditors, the lead forensic auditors, and then, of course, work commenced. So the delays were not easy, but at the end, here we are. So I want to thank you immensely. We would not have reached this point today, but for your dogged stand, your steadfastness in the fight against corruption, your love for the good people of the Niger Delta region, your determination to reposition not just the NDDC but Nigeria, and your efforts at completing projects that were abandoned by previous administrations, particularly since 1999, and of course, your love for the Nigerian people to ensure that you alleviate poverty and create infrastructure that will attract foreign direct investment and also lead to creation of jobs in the country. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much.
So today, we have reached this point, and we are about to present you this report. There is no need for me to make a statement, because as a lawyer, they say res ipsa loquitur. The act speaks for itself. The content of the report will speak for itself. It is not for me to make any statement on that. But just to let you know, sir, that the team of field forensic auditors did a fantastic job. They went around the Niger Delta, they went around the creeks. In some instances, they used boats and in other instances, they made use of vehicles. Then they had a combined team, as you are seeing, from the Army, the DSS, the police, the civil defense, and all other security agencies assisted them. At least over 390 personnel took part in the exercise. To the glory of God, there were many threats. The first time they arrived at Port Harcourt Airport, some people stole the bus and said, "Go back, you want to put us in jail." So I had to make a statement, and I want to reiterate that statement. The intention of this exercise is not to wish hunt anybody or any organization. The intention had always been to correct the wrongs of the past. From 1958, the federal government of Nigeria had tried to develop the Niger Delta region from one agency to the other. The last but one was the UNPADEC, and they tried their best, but they still ended up in the same way. None was able to satisfy the yearnings of the people. None was able to meet up with the challenges that were placed before it. So today, the few forensic auditors have completed the exercise. It wouldn't have been possible but for the doggedness of the security team. So I salute all of you. Not one single thing. Your Excellency, it might surprise you to know that almost all the communities and villages they went to, they received total cooperation from the people. I've always said it. I said, even in election matters, sometimes they say you can't rig election in a place you are not popular. So here, you couldn't have undertaken this exercise if this exercise was not popular with the people. The people wanted to know what was happening. How come trillions are entering NDDC and they had little or no 5-kilometer dualized road to show? In fact, even the headquarters building that was started in 1994-95 could not be completed in 19 years. Outside that, they stayed in a rented apartment where they were paying over 300 million a year. Even within that rented apartment, they had the other one they call diesel palaver, where they have to give contracts for diesel because they could not connect it to the national grid. It will surprise you to know that all they needed to connect it to the national grid was just 26 million naira. But yet, that place spent trillions, and then had to spend millions upon millions on diesel. So, the lead forensic auditors approved by the Federal Executive Council after due process, Messrs. Olumide Bashir and Co. I salute you. The other forensic auditors, I would not want to name all of them, but you had Ernst and Young, you had Osage, you had Dafinone, you had Henry, and so many others. They are all listed in my short remarks. So, to further demonstrate your commitment, Mr. President, you have assured us that this report will not pass like other reports in the past, that you are definitely going to look into it and examine what has been done, look at the 13,777 projects, look at the over 3.2 trillion that has already been captured in this report, and see some of the projects that could still be beneficial to the people of the Niger Delta region, and then, of course, direct appropriately. So they've gone through field verification, they've noticed a lot of funding gaps, irregularities, mismanagement, and lack of due process. Of course, there were violations of conflicts of interest on the part of management. Even the personnel audit review, we have done the review of the governance structure and organizational structure of the NDDC. It was very difficult, sir, for even one payment to go through before this exercise. It took about 26 signatures before somebody could get paid. All that have been taken care of, and recommendations are before you. I believe by the time you look at the recommendations, you will be in a position to reposition that agency. We've also analyzed the available financial records with the aim to establish who received what, who did what, who did not do what, who abandoned what, and who made away with what. Very interesting. I think also that it's better place, or it's very good for me to mention that while this exercise was going on, many of the past contractors went back to site, and they were able to complete over 77 roads. 77 roads without any new contract being awarded. And we've also completed a lot of other structures, housing, desilting, and canalization projects without going back to the commission. So, finally, sir, I want to say that on my part, that it is a very big relief that this exercise is coming finally to an end. So let me thank the Honorable Minister of State. He made approval of over 33 vehicles for use by the security team to go around with the forensic auditors without asking. He just directed that there was no point hiring vehicles and that we should purchase those vehicles. So I thank Mr. President. I think this is very important to put on record. And that on its own also showed his unwavering commitment to this. Before you, sir, we are through. Your Excellency, I humbly invite the representative of the lead forensic auditors just to make a brief remark and give you a slight overview of how the exercise went. I believe, in my view, that they did the best with the available records. Thank you, and God bless all.
You will recall the President had ordered for a holistic forensic audit of the activities of the Commission from inception to August 2019 in response to the yearnings of the people and governors of the Niger Delta region to reposition it for effective service delivery. It is imperative to state that the call for the audit by the people of the Niger Delta region arose from the huge gaps between resources invested in the region vis-à-vis the huge gap in infrastructural, human, and economic development prevalent in the region. It is on record that between 2001 and 2019, the federal government has approved 3,735,776,794 naira 93 kobo as budgetary allocation, and 2,420,948,894,191 kobo as income from statutory and non-statutory sources, which brings the total figure to the sum of approximately 6 trillion naira given to the Niger Delta Development Commission. Consequently, the federal government, the Federal Executive Council approved the engagement of a lead forensic auditor, as well as reputable audit firms to conduct the audit exercise. The President is delighted that the auditors have now completed this exercise, and the report is today being presented. Furthermore, the President is not oblivious of the interest generated by stakeholders towards the forensic audit exercise and the agitation for the constitution of the board of the NDDC. However, This administration is determined to address challenges militating against the delivery of the mandate of the NDDC to the people of the Niger Delta region. It is in the broader context of the foregoing developments that the President recently signed into law the Petroleum Industry Act, which has been a contentious issue over the years for successive governments to bring about the prudence and accountability in the petroleum sector and to give a sense of participation and ownership of the host communities. The report on the forensic audit of the NDDC and your recommendations will therefore be critically analyzed for necessary action and implementation. We owe it a duty to the people of the Niger Delta region to improve their standard of living through the provision of adequate infrastructural and socio-economic development. The welfare and socio-economic inclusion of the Niger Delta region is paramount to the development and security of the region and, by extension, the country. Funds spent on development activities should, as a consequence, promote political and socio-economic stability in the region. Citizens affected by this development projects should also exhibit the ability to contribute to the continuous progress of their immediate and wider communities by engaging in constructive activities that will sustain and support these developments. It is evident that considerable resources have been channeled by the federal government to the development of the Niger Delta from 2001 to 2019. It is therefore important for the federal government and the public to be properly informed of what has been spent and how that has been spent. The essence of the forensic audit is to ensure probity and accountability in the use of public funds. It is against this background that the federal government will, without hesitation, strategically implement all aspects of the audit exercise that will promote probity and greater prosperity for the Niger Delta region and Nigeria as a whole. The federal government is particularly concerned with the corrodal loss occasioned by uncompleted and unverified development projects in the Niger Delta region, in spite of the huge resources made available to uplift the living standard of the citizens. We have on record over 13,777 projects, the execution of which is substantially compromised. The federal government is also concerned with the multitudes of Niger Delta Development Commission's bank accounts amounting to 362 and lack of proper reconciliation of the accounts. The federal government will in consequence apply the law to remedy the deficiencies outlined in the audit report as appropriate. These will include, but not limited to, initiation of criminal investigations, prosecution, recovery of funds not properly utilized for public purposes for which they were meant for, review of the laws for the purpose of repositioning and restructuring the NDDC for efficiency and better service delivery. In all these instances of actions, legal due processes will strictly be complied with. The President has directed that the forensic audit report be forwarded to the Federal Ministry of Justice for a legal review, and relevant ministries, departments, and agencies of government will be engaged in doing justice to the findings accordingly. Let me use this opportunity to appreciate the Honorable Minister, Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs, Senator Dr. Akpabio, his colleagues, Senator Omotayo Alaso-Dura, the interim administrator, management and staff of the NDDC for their support towards the completion of the audit exercise. The appreciation of the President also goes to the lead forensic auditors and the 16 field audit firms for completing this exercise, as well as the security committee for securing the lives and properties of the audit firm throughout the duration of the forensic audit exercise. I thank you most sincerely all, and wish you God blessings. God bless Nigeria. Thank you very much.